welcome back to Sustained Overruled. I'm sorry, folks. I was late. I was on a client call, so I had to finish that up. Okay, so today I finished watching the cross-examination of ASAP Lou. I also watched very disorganized, chaotic, questionable redirect. Yeah, Chad struggled. He struggled a lot with that redirect. But before we get into that, I have like, let's see, my numbers are always off. Is that 30 on 30? I have about 30 more minutes of work that I have to do before I've met, my billable hours for the day. So we're not going to get into a recap of yesterday because I wrote notes. So I need to review those notes. So instead, we're pretty much going to get into today's proceedings. I did not watch today. I don't exactly know what we're about to get into, but we are about to jump into something. Let's see. Why? Dang, did they ever?
11th. One at 1:30. I don't know. But
hold on. Let's, I guess, I do not see why they're not showing me. Let's go to Core TV. You guys know I do like law and what is this? Law and crime. But let's go to Core TV because I just want the little preview screen at the bottom. Okay, they don't have it on here either. I wanted to see, just, I should have looked into this before I came up here, but I didn't. So bear with me. I hope you guys, oh, there we go. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. My day today is not as stressful as yesterday. Yesterday was really stressful. All right, come on. Okay, Brooklyn said nothing happened today. What do you mean nothing happened? Like nothing at all? You mean nobody was on the stand? No testimony was taken?
One owner has a good suggestion. Maybe this will work. We are happy to add, if you like, in a sense, equals 32 did not come from a profit. That's the case. Exactly what you want.
Hold on. What are they on about? Okay, so Brooklyn says nothing at all. What? Nothing? Where's the chat?
We're trying to save time.
Okay, if that's the case, if nothing in fact happened, I suppose we might as well recap. What's his name? There's no way there was no court. I'm confused. I mean, they were arguing about something. I don't know. I guess I'll figure out what they were arguing about later. What? Okay, so let's go to what's the thing? If I knew this, I would have just waited to come up here at night, right? Okay, so Brooklyn City asked Rocky if he wanted to testify, and he said no. He would have been really, really, really questionable. If he agreed to like what? Who does that? Okay, so under those circumstances, let us go to yesterday where we left off. And then let's get into Lou's testimony. Again, I've watched this. I don't know. So what do you guys want to do? Should I just continue, or do you guys want to come back later tonight instead? Like what? Like I don't know. Because I thought there was testimony taken today. Okay, so Jason says, what's up, Jason? Jason says nothing really happened during instructions, but not shown. Okay, I suppose let's get into this. So 4:11, again, I have like 30 minutes before I've clocked all my time, so I just need to do something in the background here. And then I'll come back with my commentary. But I watched the entirety of this. The end was a little messy. The end was really chaotic, but whatever. All right, let's listen to Luke. I guess I have to retitle. I'm gonna have to retitle the video. So, okay, all right, folks, let's get back into this.
Regarding the shooting range incident, not being able to go there, what happened, how you went to the house, how the 9mm magazine was. What about that? I'm asking him. He said, yes, I told them that information. I'm asking him, do you see that information in your statement? The objections are, it's irrelevant what he sees on that piece of paper. Did you definitively go through with them, sir, that incident that you testified to on direct examination?
Did I go through with them in detail? No.
Well, what did you tell them about that incident? Was it?
Oh, Brooklyn, I watched a little bit of Eric Adams today. His lawyer, I guess he's relieved. He's relieved that he's not facing criminal charges at this time, and the charges were dismissed. So we can get a little bit into that in a bit.
Just what you said on direct?
Did I exactly what I said on direct? I don't know if it was word for word.
Well, did you tell them in essence, sir, about that incident involving your attempt to go to the shooting range and how you ended up leaving a 9mm Glock 43 magazine at the defendant's home? Did you tell them that?
I told them that that was my magazine at the home, yes.
That's not what I asked you.
Tracy, do you want to go, can we go another half hour, 45 minutes? I know it's, yes, go ahead.
Yes, we can
Go to 3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't ask you if you mentioned that it was your magazine. I asked you, did you tell them about the incident, giving the detail that you just gave on direct examination? Did you tell them that?
What detail in specific is that?
You just on direct examination you recited an alleged incident where you were going to go to the shooting range. You went over to the defendant's house with all of your guns and magazines, that you had some drinks, and then because you drank too much, you decided you were going to leave a magazine for a gun you didn't own at the defendant's home. Did you tell the defense that during your interview?
No, not in detail like that. I didn't rehearse it with them, if that's what they're trying to say.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm asking, did you tell them that?
I didn't tell.
All right, so Brooklyn wants me to do the Fox, the Karen Reed interview. I've actually not watched that, but I do plan on doing it. I'll say, give me 35 minutes, because for that one, I'm going to have to actually focus, okay? So give me 35 minutes to get through this testimony, and then I don't know if I'm going to rename the video or if I'm just, I don't know, we'll do something. But give me 35 minutes quickly to review these records.
On the detail like that, no.
Well, do you know then how they knew to ask you about it if you never told them?
About the shoot, I told them we were going to go to a shooting range.
Let me continue. Were you ever asked, sir, were you ever shown what I just showed you, those bullet points? Were you ever given that to the defense and said, hey, listen, Mr. Levin, does this accurately depict what you told us?
The first time I saw that piece of paper was this morning when you showed me.
Did they ever call you to go over your statement, to say, hey, listen, we've got to turn over your statement to the prosecution. We want to make sure we have everything. Did they ever do that?
No.
You said you have knowledge and experience with firearms, is that correct?
Yes.
You said you owned numerous firearms, is that correct?
Correct.
You are currently a resident of California, have been a resident in California for many years, is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand there's a legal duty to register firearms in California, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you would agree that you have a history of complying with the law and registering your firearms, is that right?
Well,
When I buy my firearms, I buy them at a licensed dealer, yes.
And you were aware, sir, before you ever took the stand today, you were aware that the Glock 43 magazine that you allegedly gave to the defendant.
I didn't give it to him. I left it at his
That
house.
you left there.
Yes,
You were aware, sir, that you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine, correct?
that is correct, yes.
And in fact,
I
isn't
don't
it
know. That response, the question and answer, that kind of made me give Lou the the side eye. Okay, just I don't know. I do not know if I believe that explanation.
true, Mr. Levin, that you understood that because you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine,
Yes, Jason, please fill me in. Fill me in. I appreciate it. Thank you.
that you had to come up with a story to explain
Wait, but I thought there's no court tomorrow. Is that still the case or no?
how it was that not only you left a magazine at the defendant's house without a firearm to go with it, but also why you had that magazine in the first place. Is that correct?
I did not say, I didn't have to come up with a story as the truth.
And when is it your position that you first told the defense?
Oh no, Brooklyn, Jason, Benji, Fever, if you guys are all in here, what do you make of this testimony? What do you make of Lou's testimony that he is the owner of the magazine that was found in Rocky's home in August of 2022, I believe, during the search, and he is also claiming that he's the owner, despite not actually having a gun, despite not having a gun that's compatible with that magazine. I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's not the defense burden, but I have questions. I have questions in the sense that I don't know, is it better to call this witness? Is it better to go without him? Uh, I cannot make up my mind, but I'm really questioning the testimony.
The details that you just described about having
Okay. Brooklyn said it was good testimony. What was good about this testimony? How did this testimony create reasonable doubt?
brought that magazine over with your gun, having had the drinks and having left it. When did you first tell
Let's see. Jason says the judge gave jury instructions about self-defense. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
the defense about that?
Like I said, with the full I told him in August that that was my magazine at his house. The full details of that, I can't believe, I can't remember exactly what I told him, the full.
Oh, Callie, I do not know if you've watched this or not, so I'm just gonna go back a little bit. I'm gonna rewind a little bit because I need you to hear this explanation for yourself.
Tell me, can you tell me where in your saw video of a home invasion, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me where in your statement it mentions anything about a video of a home invasion?
Objection, Your Honor, it's not in the statement.
What's the, can I get a ground, Your Honor?
Misleading.
Misleading.
ground, overall.
The judge said that's on the ground. I'm sorry. Yeah, defense. I'm still questioning because I believe it was on day one. On day one, two things I noticed about. I mean, this is not Takapina speaking. This is Chad. But on day one, I knew that Takapina did not know his rules of evidence, and it shows apparently Chad does not either. I don't know how you can practice for an extended amount of time and not actually know proper grounds, unless you're just, if you're plea dealing every day, then I understand. But I don't know. I have questions. I have questions about the caliber of attorneys that ASAP Rocky hired.
This is the evidence.
I mean, some of the judges, not some, a lot of the judges' rulings, both for the prosecution and the defense, I disagree with because they're just not sound. They're not supported. But at least I like the fact that he's fair in, making rulings that are not actually grounded in law. So I guess he's fair from that perspective.
It's a question, it's not misstating anything. Objections overruled. Look, can you tell me where you see any information, sir, about having viewed videos of a home invasion?
Objections irrelevant.
Yeah, that goes without question. That goes without question, Jason. If they do believe it's not, if they do believe it's a prop gun, then under why or under what circumstances would they be convicting? I mean, jurors have done stranger things. Um, Brooklyn said he held the prop gun many times, but he's also not fired a prop gun. Does not know what a prop gun sounds like. Um, I don't know. To me, him having handled a prop gun, I'm like, whatever, it doesn't really add any value. But my mind cannot reconcile with this testimony that he left a magazine at Rocky's home and he does not actually own or possess a firearm that, you know, he could use that magazine. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, it might make sense to the jurors. That's their business. But from a logical standpoint, it doesn't make sense. But I think of all the interested parties, okay, obviously excluding law enforcement, excluding the 911 caller. So far, Lou has been the most composed witness. And I've said this last night. I like the fact that he actually does answer questions. He was a little evasive during cross-examination, but not extensively. So he may appear to be, he may appear to be credible if you decide to overlook some of the inconsistencies and things in his testimony that just do not make sense, that are mind-boggling.
Wait, irrelevant?
On his statement.
Sustained. On what grounds?
It's not relevant what he sees on that piece of paper.
Yeah, but he did not testify to that, Brooklyn. He's basically saying that he has a magazine. I don't know. The whole thing doesn't make sense. In no way did he testify to, building a gun, 3D printing, none of that.
Did you tell them specifically about the information of viewing video of home invasions or interviews? Tell them.
Again, this is 6-7 months ago. I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no, and I don't feel confident. I don't want to misspeak. I don't recall, sir. I'm sorry.
What about 2 weeks
Oh, that's
ago?
right, Callie.
When you spoke to them?
That's right. I remember. That was part of the explanation. That's right. Something about $20. It would cost more for him to actually, drive into. It's not true, but or maybe it is true. I don't know. I've not been to California. I just know that it takes me mostly 5 minutes to get to where I need to get to.
I believe so, yes.
Did you, sir, ever mention anything to them in any of your interviews about going to a shooting range or trying to go to a shooting range? The incident you just discussed on direct, did you tell them about that?
About the shooting range?
Yes.
Yes.
I want you to take a look and tell me if you see any mention of a shooting range in your statement.
Objection, irrelevant. I'm sorry, I was talking to Alex.
The question, Your Honor, I've asked him, he testified on direct regarding the shooting range incident, not being able to go there, what happened, how he went to the house, how the 9mm magazine was. Right.
What about that?
I'm asking him, he said, yes, I told them that information. I'm asking him, do you see that information in your statement?
The objections are, it's irrelevant what he sees on that piece of paper.
Did you definitively go through with them, sir, that incident that you testified to on direct examination?
Did I go through it in detail? No.
Well, what did you tell them about that incident? Was it just what you said on direct?
Exactly what I said on direct? I don't know if it was word for word.
Well, did you tell them in essence, sir, about that incident involving your attempt to go to the shooting range, how you ended up leaving a 9mm Glock 43 magazine at the defendant's home. Did you tell him that?
I told him that was my magazine at the home, yes.
That's not what I asked you.
Tracy, do you want to go, can we go another half hour, 45 minutes? I know it's, yes, go ahead.
Yes, we can go.
Go to 3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't ask you.
And I got really excited. Listen, I got really excited. I got an email today from Kids Bop, okay? And their tour dates are out. I was not really going to pay much attention to this, but the tickets are so cheap. Last year, I bought my tickets, I think, 2 months or so before the actual concert. This time around, I might buy these. I might buy these tonight. I don't know which city we're going to go to. I'm undecided. But anyways, if you have kids, Kids Bop, join the listserv, whatever, you get some really cheap tickets, okay?
Mentioned it with your magazine. I asked you, did you tell them about the incident, giving the detail that you just gave on direct examination? Did you tell them that?
What detail in specific is that?
You just on direct examination
Monday,
told
Kids Bop at 8 p.m.
you recited an alleged incident where you were going to go to the shooting range. You went over to the defendant's house with all of your guns and magazines, that you had some drinks, and then because you drank too much, you decided you were going to leave a magazine for a gun you didn't own at the defendant's home. Did you tell the defense that during your interview?
No, not in detail like that. I didn't rehearse it with them, if that's what you're trying to say.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm asking, did you tell them that?
I didn't tell them in detail like that, no.
Well, do you know then how they knew to ask you about it if you never told them?
About the shoot, I told them we were going to go to a shooting range.
Let me continue. Were you ever asked, sir, were you ever shown what I've just shown you, those bullet points? Were you ever given that to the defense and said, hey, listen, Mr. Levin, does this accurately depict what you told us?
The first time I saw that piece of paper was this morning when you showed me.
Did they ever call you to go over your statement, to say, hey, listen, we've got to turn over your statement to the prosecution. We want to make sure we have everything. Did they ever do that?
No.
You said you have knowledge and experience with firearms. Is that correct?
Yes.
You said you owned numerous firearms. Is that correct?
Correct.
You are currently a resident of California, have been a resident in California for many years. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand there's a legal duty to register firearms in California. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you would agree that you have a history of complying with the law and registering your firearms. Is that right?
When I buy my firearms, I buy them at a licensed dealer, yes.
And you were aware, sir, before you ever took the stand today, you were aware that the Glock 43 magazine that you allegedly gave to the defendant,
I didn't give it to him. I left it at his
that
house.
you left there.
Yes.
You were aware, sir, that you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And in fact, isn't it true, Mr. Levin, that you understood that because you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine, that you had to come up with a story to explain how it was that not only you left a magazine at the defendant's house without a firearm to go with it, but also why you had that magazine in the first place. Is that correct?
I'm not saying, I didn't have to come up with a story as the truth.
And when is it your position that you first told the defense the details that you just described about having brought that magazine over with your gun, having had the drinks, and having left it there? When did you first tell the defense about that?
Like I said, with the full I told him in August that was my magazine at his house. The full details of that, I can't remember exactly when I told him the full details of the story.
Well, you only talked to him twice, you said, right?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you tell him that on January 26th?
I don't.
So Jason said he also left his rifle at Rocky's house. Maybe, I don't know. When I listen to this stuff at work, it's really low because none of those people are interested in this stuff. So I do remember something about a rifle, but I probably was not paying attention.
We didn't get into details. They just asked me about the shooting range incident and why the magazine was there.
Wait, how did they ask you about a shooting range incident when you never told them about the shooting?
I told you I had told them about it.
So you told them about the shooting range incident back in August of 2024?
Well, yes, I believe so.
And your testimony is that even though you told them about it, they didn't ask for any details, is that correct?
In August of 24, I can't accurately remember. I don't want to misspeak, sir.
Say again?
We just come up with 1 second.
Now,
Hold on. Off the record? Off? All right.
And Brooklyn, what did you make of Chad's redirect? Let's see. I cannot see what these comments are saying, but they're saying something. They are saying something. Come on now. Were they gone for a long time? I suppose so. All right.
just whether you have testified that you have experience in knowledge of
Well, I handled the prop gun, and I know how it works. I've never fired a prop gun, but I understand how it works.
You've seen a prop gun fired, though, correct?
Have I seen one fire a person? No.
You've seen a prop gun either fired in person, in a video.
Oh, in a video or a movie, yeah, of course, yeah.
And you would agree that a prop gun, it cannot fire an actual projectile, agree?
That's correct.
And would you also agree that because it can't fire a projectile, it has no ability to, for instance, to protect somebody if the other guy has a real gun? Would you agree?
I'm sorry, can you ask that different way, please?
So let's say you pull out a prop gun. There's no bullet that can be fired from that prop gun. And someone in response pulls out a real gun. You would agree, real gun versus prop gun, not good for the person that's prop gun, agree?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You understand that in this case, you have said that the defendant was possessing the prop gun because he had been advised by you and a security person as a result of home invasions and stalking and a violent situation where he's been stabbed to carry a prop gun, correct?
Yes,
And would you agree, I want to give you the following scenario. An individual has a prop gun in their possession. Somebody threatens them. The person who has the prop gun takes out that prop gun. Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that in such a scenario, if the individual they pull the prop gun on, at that point in time, if that person does not know it's a prop gun, that when the individual pulling the prop gun is pulling it out, if the other person has a real gun, the person prop gun is going to be in trouble. Would you agree?
Objection, Your Honor. With respect to, suspect.
If someone's got a prop gun and they run up against somebody with a real gun, and that person with the real gun sees that prop gun being pulled on them, you would agree that in that situation, based on what you know about firearms, that the person with prop gun is likely going to get shot.
Objection, same one.
I want to give you a scenario, sir. You carry firearms, correct?
that's not correct. I do not carry, I'm not licensed to carry a firearm in public.
You're in your house. You're in your home. You have multiple firearms, correct?
Correct.
Somebody comes in that you don't know, and they have a prop gun. But you don't know it's a prop gun. They just pull a gun on you. Would you agree, sir, that when someone pulls a gun on you, you're going to treat that as if it is a real firearm?
I mean, it kind of, it depends on like this, there's other factors in the scenario that I would need to like know. I can't just really speak on that just like that.
So you're in your house and someone is coming in, an intruder, and you don't know, and they have a gun in their hand that looks like a real firearm. And you're saying, I don't know if I would consider that a real firearm. Might be a prop gun. Is that your testimony?
Well, no, I'm saying there's other factors that would be in it. If someone came into my home and was pointing a gun at me and I believed it to be a real gun, most likely I would comply with what they wanted, because if I thought it was a real gun, I went to go pull out a gun. In the motion of me trying to pull a gun out, they would possibly gun me down.
And would you agree that if somebody is pulling a gun and you don't know in advance that it is definitely a prop gun, you're going to assume it's a real gun, correct?
Yes.
Now, your testimony is that the defendant was advised that he should be carrying a prop gun, not to protect himself against individuals who knew.
And here's what I know. Do not go to Lou for advice, and definitely don't go to Wally to be a mediator. Because these folks, they do not give sound advice at all.
Who didn't carry a prop gun, but to protect himself against individuals he did not know, like home invaders, stalkers,
Oh my goodness.
violent people, correct?
Kelly said, does he have a receding hairline? He is aging. He looks like he's getting up there in age.
It was just to fight off any type of violence that could come from, not any specific.
And when you say fight off,
Brooklyn has an
meaning,
answer for you.
meaning pull
So does
a
Jason.
fake gun out of your pocket.
Lower the volume.
Pull a fake gun out of your pocket. And that's what you mean by
Jason,
fighting
what?
off.
I mean, it was there to deter violence. So if he was in a situation where he was going to be harmed, it could be there something possibly to calm things down and safely get him out of a bad situation.
Would you agree that just as likely would be you pull that prop gun and the person you pull it on pulls a real gun and shoots you?
I can't speak on that. I mean, it's.
Let me ask you this, sir. It's your position that everybody around the defendant knew that he carried a prop gun, correct?
His close friends, yes.
And you have heard testimony that Relly was aware that he carried a prop gun, correct?
I didn't hear any other testimony.
I want you to assume that there's been testimony in this case by the defense that Relly was aware that it was a prop gun that the defendant was carrying. I want you to assume that. Would you agree that if Relly knew that the gun was a prop gun, that it would not offer any deterrent if it were pulled on him because he would know it was fake?
I can't speak to his state of mind in the situation.
Listen to me. I'm not asking you, I'm saying anybody. I want you to assume for a moment, I'll give you, do it in hypothetical terms, all right? I want you to assume that the individual who is pulling the prop gun is pulling it against somebody who knows that it is a prop gun. Would you agree that the only value of the prop gun is if you could scare or intimidate somebody into thinking that it is real?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
Objection, Your Honor, it's also state of mind of another.
Russian people are going to call me on this.
That's not your legal
That's
right.
right, it's speculation.
He said he's a,
Read back the question. Listen to me, I'm not asking you, I'm saying anybody. I want you to assume for a moment, I'll give you, I'll do it in hypothetical terms, all right? I want you to assume that the individual who's pulling the prop gun is pulling it against somebody who knows that it is a prop gun. Would you believe that? Would you agree that the only value of the prop gun is if you can scare or intimidate somebody into thinking that it is real?
Speculation.
would you agree that if an individual understands that a fake gun you're pulling is fake and not real, then that gun doesn't have any value for deterrence?
Objection, same objection, same way.
So there's been testimony in this case by the defense that, again, Relly was aware that this was a prop gun. Are you aware that the defense in this case, Mr. Levin, is that the defendant pulled the prop gun on Relly to stop him from attacking Hills? Are you aware that that's the defense?
Yes.
Okay, and my question is, given your knowledge of firearms and given your
Brooklyn, what makes you say that Raleigh did not know that it was a fake gun? What's up, Benji? Oh, Benji just woke up. Is today your day off? Hope you're having, you're having a slow start to the day. What time is it? Isn't it 1 p.m. in California? I think it is. Well, welcome.
advice to the defendant about carrying a prop gun, would you agree that if Relly knows it is a prop gun, that the theory that you have raised about why the defendant is carrying a prop gun doesn't work?
Objection, Your Honor, statements before speculation. Overruled, that's phrased, overruled.
Well, no, so the prop gun, like I said, it makes a loud noise, so that's gonna draw attention and possibly draw police to come. So if he's beating up Ills and nothing is going, and no, like he's not stopping, nothing's like stopping him, that loud noise is gonna draw a lot of attention.
That's, I don't know, I'm trying to remember what 12E's response was. Because 12E's response was that, if I remember correctly, was something along the lines of, well, Relly did not stop attacking Ills because he knew it was a prop gun. And in this case, Lou was not at the scene, but Lou saying that, the sound enough would be sufficient to, I guess, ward off an attack. And do we know if Ills is in a state to actually testify or not?
Attention from all people around, and it's gonna help deter the situation.
Would you agree that
That's the word.
if
Okay.
a prop gun is used, that
Right.
there is no reason?
All right, Benji. Well, you have a good day. Does this mean that you get to work longer, or is it just a shorter shift?
The person pulling the prop gun to aim the gun down or to fire, quote, a warning shot, because in the end, the gun can't fire a shot, period. Would you agree?
Objection, speculation, Your Honor.
You testify, you understand how a prop gun works, correct?
Yes.
Can you fire a warning shot with a prop gun?
Well, I think they're kind of all warning shots. There's no actual shot bullet that comes out, no projectile.
So you would agree that you can't fire a warning shot with a prop gun because you can't fire a shot, period. All you can do is fire off the prop gun and have it make noise. Would you agree?
That's correct. It doesn't fire a projectile.
Would you agree that if you have a real gun with bullets, and you point it at somebody, and you pull the trigger, that there is a likelihood that that person gets shot? Would you agree?
With an actual firearm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you agree that the idea of a warning shot with a real firearm is that you are pointing the gun in a direction and pulling the trigger where no one is going to be hit, so as to warn the individual, hey, I've got this gun, and if you don't stop what you're doing, I'm going to shoot you? Would you agree?
Objection, speculation, sustained.
Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that in firing a shot with a prop gun, that there would be no reason to aim the gun towards the ground because the gun can't fire anything?
Objection, speculation.
Where's the speculation?
Sustained.
On speculation?
Yes.
He's ready to fight.
You want to argue with me?
I'd like to broach.
No.
No, I'm trying to have, to do a very important area, and I'm not understanding.
What this witness thinks is the efficacy of a prop gun versus a real gun. What his opinion is irrelevant. Go on to another
Just
subject.
so clear, I'm doing it for his credibility in front of the jury, which is relevant.
You've already touched on it enough. Go on to something else.
All right, Benji. Well, be safe out there.
Have you seen the video involving
this incident?
I saw the one that's on TNT when he first got arrested, whenever it was posted,
So how many times have you seen the video?
maybe twice.
You're saying in 3+ years since this incident involving your brother, one of your best friends, a man you work for, that you have only looked at the video of this charged crime a couple of times.
Yes,
In that video, would you agree, I can show it to you, in that video, would you agree that between shots that the defendant,
Hold on. Steve Bannon was in court today. Apparently, the man pled guilty to helping defraud donors. I guess the wall, the wall. I did not know this, so this is news to me.
is running around with his gun out and appears to be looking for a line of fire to hit the victim. Objection irrelevant. You've given testimony about the current location of the prop gun and how you went to New York and who you gave it to. Is that correct?
that's correct.
That wasn't in the statement that you reviewed with 12 bullet points, was it?
The one that you showed me with the 9 bullet points earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, it was in there, correct.
And it's your testimony, though, that you told the defense about this back in August of 2024.
Yes,
And the individual that you returned the gun to, are they alive?
they are, I give you the info, we talked about it earlier, yeah.
I'm just saying, they're alive.
That's correct, yes.
Do you know where that gun is today?
Specifically, no, like I said, when I went to New York, I gave it back to him.
Well, so since you became involved, since you've known about where that gun went, since you gave it back, at some point in time, did you become aware that, you know what, the fact that it's a prop gun is important in this case?
Yes,
And you understand that if it's a prop gun, the defendant cannot be guilty of the charges because it's not a real gun. You understand that, correct?
that's correct, it's a problem.
So what efforts did you make in the last 3 years to try to get that prop gun back so that you could demonstrate, hey, my brother, he didn't do this crime? Did you make any efforts?
Yeah, I asked the co-director if he had it still, and he doesn't.
When did you ask him?
Specifically, I don't remember, sir.
Now, isn't it true, sir, that you testified you returned it in January of 2022?
That's correct, yes.
Did it seem strange to you that you were returning a gun?
A prop gun.
Huh?
A prop gun?
Is a prop gun a gun?
It's a prop gun.
So when I say gun, you don't need to correct me.
Ah,
When
listen,
you return the gun,
Lewin is something else. He's I don't know. Lewin is something else.
when you return
He's an acquired taste. He's an acquired taste.
the gun in January of 2022, by that time, you were aware that your friend Rocky was potentially going to be getting in some trouble as it relates to that incident, correct?
No,
I don't want to ruin it. When do we get into redirect? But I pretty much understand why. I mean, Takapina struggled. He struggled as well. So I don't know if this is even a fair comparison. But Chad absolutely struggled with redirect on this witness. He just, I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but he struggled.
I was not aware of that.
So, but you certainly knew 3 months later in April, correct?
Yes, when he got arrested, I knew he was,
And you knew that day, as soon as you heard about it, you knew, oh my God.
Lewin is pretty sharp, but that's sharp. He's sharp. He's just, again, his temperament questionable, but other than that, he knows his stuff.
I've got information that gun's not real, correct? You knew that day.
Yes.
Did you go get the gun?
I was in LA. The gun, like I said, I gave it to the director in New York in January.
Did you make an effort to try to get the gun?
I told you I contacted him to see if he still had it.
When did you contact him?
And again, I don't recall the exact date, sir. This is 3 years ago.
Isn't it true, sir, that you didn't contact him for more than a year?
Sir, to be honest, I don't know the exact date I contacted him.
Well, let me ask you something, sir. Wouldn't you have instantly, the day you heard about the defendant getting arrested, wouldn't you have jumped on a plane to get back there and find that prop gun that would have gotten your brother out of the trouble that he was in? Wouldn't you have done it?
Sir, I contacted the director. I don't know exactly when to see if he had it. He doesn't have it anymore.
And so you just did you ask him what he did with it?
Yes.
Did you investigate further once he told you?
No, I didn't. I mean, he doesn't have it anymore. I don't know which one is it.
Did you go to the police and tell them what you knew?
No.
Did you go to the prosecution and tell them what you knew?
No.
You're aware that he had a preliminary hearing in November of 2023. You're aware of that preliminary hearing, correct?
Yes.
You knew it was publicized in the media, correct?
Yes.
You knew that based at that time, that your brother, your close friend, could not have committed this crime because it wasn't a real gun, and you didn't do anything, did you?
I knew it was a prop gun.
Does you yourself, knowing it's a prop gun, does that help your brother with his legal problem if you don't tell anybody?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
You said you knew it was a prop gun.
Yes.
My question is, you understand the police, the prosecution, and the court needs to understand it's a prop gun in order for you to help it, right?
Yeah. Nobody contacted me from the police or the courts. Nobody contacted me until like 2 weeks ago about the police or the
Wait.
courts.
Would you, sir, have had every incentive, every motive, every desire to contact the police and the prosecution to tell them, hey, my buddy, my close friend, my brother Rocky is innocent. That was a fake gun. Wouldn't you have had every motivation to do that?
I knew that this was going to court, and I knew I would have my time to speak about it here to the jury.
Well, so you decided you would wait, have your brother held to answer, have him brought to trial in front of 12 jurors, rather than simply going to the police and prosecutors and telling them, hey, listen, that was a fake gun. Is that your testimony?
Like I said, I knew that this case was going to trial, and I would have my opportunity to speak here in front of the jury and explain it.
I want to ask you again.
Okay.
Did you understand that by not coming forward, that you were putting your brother, your best friend, in more legal jeopardy? Did you understand that?
No, I didn't. I didn't understand that. I didn't. No.
So you were present on April 20th, 2022, when a search warrant was served at Mr. Mayor's residence, correct?
I wasn't present when it was served, but I was there during the search, yes.
You were there when they were doing the search, correct?
Correct, yes.
The police, correct?
Yes,
The police, the detectives handling this case, correct?
correct.
That man seated right in the back. Can you stand up for me, detective? You saw him at the defendant's house, correct?
That's correct.
So Benji likes Luan's questions. Yeah, these are difficult questions to answer. I don't know. I don't even know how I don't know how they got here, but they did.
Did you walk up to him and say to him, detective, yours a prop gun? That's not right. He didn't do anything. Did you tell the detective that?
At that time, I didn't know any details of the case. I just got a phone call saying that there was a search warrant being done at his house, and I should go over there to just be there. I wasn't aware of any of the details of the case. This was early in the morning. I was just getting out of bed. I didn't know that he was being charged for. I didn't know what he was being charged for.
Didn't you already testify, sir, that you had talked to Rocky the day after the incident happened and you knew that he had used a prop gun?
Correct.
So you're telling me that when the detectives are showing up, serving a search warrant, that you had no idea what it was related to?
I didn't know that this was gonna be, it was going to a criminal case until that day.
So when it was that day and the detective is there, you wouldn't have had to call him, you wouldn't have had to go down there. He's right there, and you could have told him it was a prop gun. You could have done that, correct?
I didn't know the details of everything.
Brooklyn, we already did that. Why do you want to go back to the opening of Takapina and Lewin?
That was going
Not
on.
even. I don't even think it was Lewin. It was Mr. P.
That's fine, sir. I didn't know what was.
Listen to my question. Could you have told the detective on that day it was a prop gun, it wasn't real? Could you have done that?
When I was speaking to the detective,
Yes.
I could have told him, but I didn't have any details of what was going on, sir. It wasn't, at that time, I
Most
didn't
is
know.
right, everything after yes. Did you tell him it was a prop gun?
Did I tell him it was a prop gun on that day?
Yes.
No.
Now, you were also aware, on that day, you were aware that they collected evidence, correct? You were there
Brooklyn, I thought you wanted to move on to Karen Reed. No.
supporting your friend, is that right?
I was aware they collected evidence.
By the way, you said you got called when they were served the search warrant. Who called you?
It was somebody that was on the plane with him. I can't remember exactly who it was that day.
Well, so,
It was like 7 in the morning. I was just waking up to just, hey, you have to go over to Rocky's house. They're going to search the house. And I just jumped in my car and I didn't ask questions. I just went.
why would you have to go over to Rocky's house when you're serving a search warrant at Rocky's for something that doesn't involve you?
Well, I've worked with him for a long time and I actually sometimes manage his property. So I'm able to get access to the house. I have keys. So I could have opened the door instead of them busting the gate open and running the door down. I mean, and if they needed anything in there, I was just there, we had nothing to hide. So I was there if they needed anything. Even at one point, they needed to get into a safe and I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Slow down.
I'll slow it down. I apologize.
So, you go over to the house, and you are there when they are collecting guns, correct?
I was outside all the time, so I didn't see exactly what they were collecting.
You became aware on that date or shortly thereafter that detectives did not find a prop gun, correct?
Well, yeah, there was no profit in the house
So how did you know there was a prop gun in the house?
because on January of that year, I brought it back to New York to get testified.
How did you know there was no other prop gun in the house?
They could have been in the prop gun in the house. I didn't know. I know that prop gun was back in New York.
Okay, so you also know that the detectives recovered that Glock 43 9mm magazine, correct?
Yes, I know now they did. Correct.
And it's your testimony that that was actually your magazine, am I correct?
That's correct.
And it's your testimony that even though you do not own a Glock 43, that you bought a 380, correct?
I bought a Glock 42. Yes.
Which is a 380.
380
correct?
caliber. That's correct.
380 cannot fire 9mm rounds, correct?
That's correct.
And your testimony is that when you bought it, you somehow inadvertently got the wrong magazine. Is that right?
I mistakenly bought the wrong magazine.
And you didn't realize it was the wrong magazine until literally the day you went over to Rocky's house to end up in preparation for going to the shooting range, correct?
That's correct.
And because you did not know that it was anything other than a 380, right, a Glock 42 magazine that fired 380 caliber ammunition, correct? You didn't find that out until you go to the house and you're like, oh my God, this is the wrong gun, is that right?
Yes.
Did you actually try to put it inside of your Glock 42 to 380?
No, what I was trying to do is I was trying to load it, and I noticed when I put the 380 ammunition in, it was a little too small. It wasn't fitting correctly.
So, Mr. Levin, if you were only using 380 ammunition, and if you're trying to put 380 ammunition, how is it that that magazine was full of 9mm ammunition?
I also own a Smith & Wesson M&P9, which is 9mm. I brought both of my handguns that day, so I was loading up my Smith & Wesson magazines with 9mm, and I'm so sorry, I'm going too fast. I was loading up my Smith & Wesson magazines with 9mm, and my Glock 42 magazines with 380. So I had both ammunitions on that day.
Now, you're well aware that a Glock magazine looks nothing like a Smith & Wesson magazine, correct?
Yeah, correct.
They look nothing alike, correct?
That's right.
So my question is, how is it that that Glock magazine, which you thought was to hold .380 ammunition, ended up being loaded with 9mm ammunition? How did that happen?
When I realized the 380 didn't fit, I tried the 9mm in there and it fit. And then I further inspected it and realized it was a 43 magazine.
So, by the way, so you're telling me you then needed to figure out what kind of magazine it was. And so you decided to put a 9mm round inside the magazine, correct?
Yes.
So, sir, as soon as you put one 9mm round in the magazine, you know it's not for a 380. Why is it fully loaded with approximately 6 rounds of ammunition? A full Glock 43 magazine, full 9mm ammo.
Because after we realized we weren't going to the gun range, and I packed everything up, I was just fidgeting with it. At that time, I had just first got
No,
guns,
I need to look at the
and
comments.
sometimes I would sit there and I would load it and unload magazines just fidgeting around.
So you loaded a magazine for a gun you didn't have with ammunition you didn't know went into it. And then when it fit, you fully loaded it all the way. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Because you were
I don't know, folks. I don't know. The testimony it's really shaky. Really shaky.
quote fidgeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
Objection, Alderman. Sustain.
Isn't it true, sir, that this information about the Glock 43 magazine
Somebody said Alec Baldwin had a prop loaded with real bullets.
is what is called a lie? That it never happened.
I know.
That you never.
To me, again, Lou's presentation was good in the sense that he answered questions, did not seem to be completely evasive, unlike, the other folks we've seen testify. But the story, it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Never took over a Glock 43 magazine there. That you never tried to load it with .380 ammunition. And then in fact,
Compound. It's really compound.
when the objection was,
Well, he's in the middle of arguing that it's argumentative. There are a number of questions that you're asking. So you're asking question after question after question. So why don't you limit it to one?
No. Somebody said Lou needs to get off the stand. Apparently, he's helping the prosecution.
I'm trying to, and totally wrong, because I believe it would go to the impeachment of the witness, but I'll take it one at a time, and I'll do the result.
Yeah, another person said no. Alec Baldwin's prop was swapped out for a real one.
So
I know, folks. This testimony, my head is spinning. As I was listening to this at work this morning, I was like, I don't know. I was scratching my head because the testimony is very questionable. Somebody out here said Lou's cooking. Okay, so to some folks, he's doing very well, and the explanation makes sense.
let me back up for a second. When you bought a Glock before, you bought a Glock 42, correct?
That's correct.
You agree that when you buy a new Glock, it always comes with
And somebody out here said grown men do not fidget. He's a little shaky. He possibly was fidgeting with, I don't know. I know why, but it doesn't make sense to me.
I didn't buy it new. I bought it used. I bought it secondhand from somebody.
You ever bought
Brooklyn, what's confusing? The testimony. Listen, Lou. Again, I commend him for his demeanor, his ability to answer questions without being, slithery and slippery. But the testimony is very, I don't know. The jury might believe it. For all you know, the jury might believe it. But me, it doesn't make sense.
a new weapon?
Brand new? No. All of my firearms were bought through secondhand.
When you buy it secondhand, sir, wouldn't you agree I assume when you bought your 380 secondhand, it came with 2 magazines, correct?
I don't believe so. It just came with one.
You said you know a lot about firearms, correct?
Yeah, I'm knowledgeable.
Is it your testimony that in your experience, that when you buy a new firearm, that generally speaking, that firearm only comes with 1 magazine?
Objection, relevant. System.
Sir, isn't it true that the reason that that 9mm magazine was at the defendant's house was because he had a 9mm firearm, a Glock 43, that he used in this shooting of Relly, and that was simply the second magazine that he forgot to get rid of? Isn't that what happened, sir?
No.
As a firearms owner in California, you would agree that it is very difficult, and it has been difficult to get ammunition in California since 2019. Would you agree?
Yeah, in 2020, I know it was a shortage and prices were going up, but it was difficult at some points, correct?
Not only a shortage, but you would agree that you have to actually, that at the time of this offense in 2021, you would agree you needed approval from the Department of Justice, as well as a California driver's license or a California ID and a local address to purchase ammunition in California, correct?
I don't know about approval, but whenever I bought ammunition, all I had to do is show my driver's license. So that was a California driver's license with an address, yes.
So would you agree that if you don't have, in your experience, if you don't have a California driver's license or a California address, you're just going in to a gun shop to try to get ammunition, then in your experience, you can't do it in California?
I believe so, yeah, that's what I understand, or at least that, yes.
Do you know a place to buy ammunition near Hollywood on a Saturday evening after 10 p.m.?
No, I don't know any places.
Who is ASAP Bills?
ASAP Bills is a member of the ASAP group collective.
When's the last time you saw him?
Last year at some point, I want to say maybe November, September. I can't remember the exact date.
When's the last time you had any contact with him? Person, text, you tried to reach him? When's the last time?
Probably when around the time I saw him.
Did
What?
he travel with you guys on tour to Jamaica?
No, he did not.
I know. And what sense does it make to, after the shooting, what sense does it make to, take the prop gun from Los Angeles, California, or wherever, to New York City? Like, I don't know. I have questions. This testimony to me, I don't know. There's something up with this testimony. What is the purpose of getting rid of a prop gun? I don't know. It doesn't.
You guys were all friends at the time of the incident in November 2021.
I don't know. Tiffany Jackson knows something about, guns. She said, I'm assuming it's a she. Apparently, practicing safe use would have been a better term than fidgeting.
Defended 12 nails, right?
Yes, correct.
And you would say close friends, correct?
Yeah.
You went to Complex Con on November 7th, correct?
Yes, I did.
And did you notice any injuries on Ills?
Not that I can see.
What do you think? You know Relly, correct?
Yes.
Would you describe Relly in terms of his physical strength as, kind of a weakling, medium, or pretty strong dude?
No, I would say I'm pretty strong.
And I want you to assume that he had punched somebody with a fist in their face area 3 times. Knowing Relly as you do, would you expect that an individual would receive injuries from that? Since you know Relly?
Not necessarily. I can't say that. I've seen boxers before get punched in the face multiple times. Fine. Like, I guess it just depends on the person.
You didn't see Ills with any injuries though the night of November 7th, did you?
I wasn't studying his face, but I didn't see any physical injuries. Injuries.
If you would have been bleeding, do you think you would have seen that?
Bleeding that day. Or bleeding that day.
Bleeding,
Objection.
yes. If you would have been bleeding on November 7th,
He's gonna clarify it.
if you've been bleeding on November 7th, you would have seen it.
Not necessarily.
You were with Ills, the defendant, and 12 on November 7th, correct?
Correct.
You spoke to the defendant on November 6th after the incident, correct?
I don't know if it was after the incident or the next day, but it was shortly after, yeah, around that time.
When you spoke to him, did he tell you that Relly beat the hell out of Ills?
I don't know if he used those exact words, but they got into an altercation, yes.
What did he tell you specifically about the altercation with Ills?
This is 4 years ago. I can't remember specific word for word, but I was told that he was beating up Bills.
Did you reveal that in any statement you gave?
I wasn't there that night, so I wasn't really asked about what happened that night.
So you're telling me the defense didn't ask you, what did Rocky tell you about what happened that night? They never asked you that?
To be honest, in August, they didn't ask for that. Like I said, I wasn't there that night, so it's really not, I can't really accurately speak on what happened.
As you sit here right now, I want you to tell me, as best you can, everything that the defendant has ever told you about this incident. I'm not asking you when, I'll get to that, but I want to know everything that he has told you about this incident.
This was a good question.
He mentioned after the rehearsal, on the 6th in Long Beach, he went to go meet up with Rel. They got into an altercation. Well, he got into an altercation with Ills. Rel was being the aggressor, and he had used the prop gun to kind of stop it, to calm it down.
Did he tell you that he was upset with Relly beforehand and was trying to meet up with him?
No.
Did you become aware at any point in time that he had been texting Relly, meaning the defendant, trying to meet up with him?
No.
Did you become aware that he had brought his prop gun, allegedly, to this meeting with Relly?
Well, yeah.
Did he ever tell you, he ever asked me, why are you bringing a prop gun with you when you're meeting with another ASAP?
I don't think he brought it just.
Motion to strike is not responsible.
He's so dramatic, Lewin.
Stop your yelling.
I
You can just make the motion, and state the reason, you don't have to yell.
mean, that's his job.
It's not responsible. He's given an answer I didn't ask for. Listen to my question.
Yes.
I didn't ask you why the defendant told you something. I asked you what he told you. So on my questions going forward, I'm not gonna ask you why the defendant told you something, because you wouldn't know. I'm asking you, what did he tell you? So I wanna know, what did he specifically tell you about why he brought a prop gun to meet with his friend Relly?
He didn't specifically say he brought it to meet with Remy. Whenever he would leave the house without security, he would bring it with him.
And you're aware of that because you had counseled him to do that, is that correct?
I didn't counsel him to do that. It was just something that he did. It was common knowledge.
I thought you told me that you and the security guy sat down with him and said, hey,
Yeah, we thought it would be a good idea, yes. So I don't know if that's counseling him to do it. I mean, maybe I just misunderstanding the word, but yes, me and security at the time, we had thought it was a good idea for him to carry it. And that's what, to my knowledge, that's why he was carrying it. When he would leave the house, if he didn't have the security with him, he would carry that.
And so you said, that's what he told you. What else has he said?
I told you that he told me.
So in the 3+ years that this has happened, the only thing that he has told you is what you just related.
Yes.
You never asked any other details.
No, I didn't ask any other details.
Do you ever call Relly and ask him what happened?
I don't have, at that time, me and Relly weren't really on speaking terms.
Did you ever ask Twelby what happened?
No.
You never asked Ills what happened?
I mean, as Lewin, I probably would have explored that, not even explored. I don't think it needs any more exploration. I pretty much would have had Lou answer. I'd have asked him a question, something along the lines of, they are still not on good terms or whatever. Because if he's not on good terms with Relly, but he's on good terms with, I mean, he's kind of explored bias. Maybe there's probably no more reason to tack on, but I do like to cover my bases.
No,
So you're telling me that 4 guys that you at one point were very close to, including Rocky, who
Questionable.
you work for and is responsible for a lot of your income and success, get into an altercation where at the very least a prop gun is pulled, and you're telling me you never asked 2 of the participants, Ills and 12, anything about it
Right.
ever? Was that your testimony?
I honestly, yes, I never asked them about it. When the defendant told me,
Motion to strike everything after yes.
sorry.
Is it your testimony that you were unable to get the gun back from the individual in New York, or is it your testimony that you never tried?
I was unable to get it.
What efforts did you make to try to get the gun back from the individual in New York?
I asked him if he still had it.
And when he
What's
told
up,
you that he
Eva?
didn't, did you make any further effort to track down where it was?
I don't know what other further effort I could
Are you having a good day?
have made.
But did you ask him what did he do?
Yeah, Lewin, I don't even know how to describe his style. He is definitely not aggressive. I've seen attorneys that are insanely aggressive. I used to be one of those people. So I don't know. He's not. I do not consider this to be. I'll go with assertive. Okay, that aggressive, not so much. Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably give him a 0.5.
I asked him where it was, and he said it's gone.
Did he give you a name of who he gave it to?
He didn't. He doesn't know where it went. What he, to my understanding, is he has a studio right in New York that like, him and his other creatives they all use. It's like a studio where they keep camera equipment, they keep lighting equipment, they keep prop equipment. It's kind of like a common space, so someone can come in and borrow a camera, borrow a prop for different shoots, and it got misplaced, it got stolen. He said stuff gets missing all the time.
You are aware,
I have questions. I have quit. I don't know. Let's leave it alone.
sir, that this morning we were finally given
All
the
right.
name of the individual that you're saying. That you
Yeah,
gave.
it's freezing. It's freezing, but it will be over before we know it. I'm glad you had a good day, though.
Gone to New York, correct?
Correct.
Objection around the time.
The court has made a ruling on this previously, Your Honor. Are you aware that we called that individual this morning and spoke to him?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
And-
part, though. I wanted to find out what the recording was about. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how does Lewin. I mean, I'm just nosy. I'm really nosy, but I'm curious to find out. I'm curious to find out what the individual said on the recording. I don't know. I have questions. I have serious questions. Listen, after the prosecution, when the prosecution rested, okay, when the prosecution rested, I was like, whatever. Um, I'm not going to say that the prosecution, I'm not going to say that this is one of those open and shut cases. This is not one of those, a case that I'm going to say is open shut. Let me think of a recent case that has not gone to trial yet. Give me a moment. Like Michael, no, that's not his name. His name is not Michael. His name is, I don't think, the Idaho guy, Koberger. What's his first name? I don't think his first name is Michael. I don't know where I got Michael from. I don't think that's his first name. In any event, that case, from the very minute he was arrested, I'm like, I don't know how you get out of this one. Okay, that's a difficult case. That's a difficult defense case. As far as Rocky's case, the facts are favorable enough where the defense actually can make an argument, right? And that's how I felt when the prosecution rested, right? I think the facts are good enough where it could go either way. Brian, there we go. Thank you, Kelly. I'm like, where did I get Michael from? But after the defense put their case on, I'm really scratching my head. I'm scratching my head because I don't know. They don't. Again, the defense does not have to do anything. They do not bear the burden in this case. But they're really these testimonies are. They're. I'm just scratching my head because things are not quite lining up.
It's your testimony that that individual, if asked, what happened to the gun?
Huh.
His response would have been, I have no idea.
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
I can play it, if you like.
I don't know how that is not relevant. That's why I'm saying the judges. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Uh, Again, a lot of. Oh, that's not the right book. I'm looking at what I have on my shelf here. I might have to go. Hold on. I think I have something here. I'm gonna play this. I think I have. Let's go back to the rules of evidence. I think I have a book here. So I'm just gonna go back a little bit because again, Judge Arthur, a lot of his rulings have been head scratchers because to me they're clearly wrong. But I don't know. Let's play this while I find this book.
Objection, irrelevant, Your Honor.
The court is
The grounds relevance? That cannot be. That cannot be. Anyways, let me find my evidence book and then I'm gonna back up just a little bit because I need to give myself enough time to actually find it.
So did you ask him what did he do with it?
I asked him where it was, and he said it's gone.
Did he give you a name of who he gave it to?
He didn't. He doesn't know where it went. When he
I don't know, folks. The defense, defense definitely has me scratching my head.
my understanding is he has a studio right in New York that him and his other creatives they all use. It's like a studio where they keep camera equipment, they keep lighting equipment, they keep prop equipment. It's kind of like a common space, so someone can come in and borrow a camera, borrow a prop for different shoots, and it got misplaced, it got stolen. He said stuff gets missing all the time.
You are aware, sir, that this morning we were finally given the name of the individual that you were saying that you gave the gun to in New York, correct?
Correct.
Objection, irrelevant, Your Honor.
The court has made a ruling on this previously, Your Honor. Are you aware that we called that individual this morning and spoke to him?
Yes.
And it's your testimony that that individual, if asked, what happened to the gun? His response would have been, I have no idea.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay. So who's this? What's his name again? Whatever his name is. Okay, his testimony is that again, they took the gun from the prop gun. They took a prop gun from California to New York, gave it to some person, some production individual that has a whole bunch of props and some other devices and gadgets, and things get lost all the time and they disappear. The gun disappeared. They don't know what happened to the gun. Okay. And then Lewin is basically testing that testimony by saying that he interviewed the individual, the studio manager, production manager. I forgot the title. I forgot what the person actually does. Okay. And that person's response would be, I have no idea. I think that's what his
Individual, if asked, what happened to the gun? His response would have been, I have no idea.
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
I can play.
Okay. So again, I do not agree with a relevant objection, and here's why. Okay, we're going back to the rules of evidence. I had to bring my stuff out. Okay, so basically it says for admissibility, the test for relevance is evidence is relevant. This is federal rules. Again, California, I mean, most states do borrow from federal, and then they just, they can add to it, they cannot diminish, they cannot take away. But so it says that evidence is relevant if it has any tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence. So in this case, I mean, that first leg definitely passed. And then the fact is of consequence in determining the action. I do not know how the judge can sustain on that basis, because it's pretty irrelevant whether, the what is this, the gun, what is this, I don't know, the production manager or whoever it is that he gave the gun to, if they're saying they have no idea, and Lou's out here testifying saying, oh, it got lost because, this person has a studio and things get lost all the time, then it should come in. That is me ruling. Okay, that's my ruling.
Hey, the court made certain rulings.
The objection is sustained. Do you recall the other day I talked about speaking objections, arguing?
Judge was threatening Lou, and he was not going for it.
Remember that? Do you remember that?
I do.
All right, I'm keeping track of every speaking objection.
Yeah, but I definitely I disagree with the judge's ruling on that. It's not. I disagree. That should have come in.
That is made, every argument with the witness, argument with me. I'm keeping track of all that. He made an objection. I sustained it. Go on, to the next question.
Have you asked this individual directly for the name of the person that he gave the gun to?
Like I said, I don't know what happened to the gun after the proper.
The motion to strike is non-responsive.
He's already answered the question. He doesn't know.
No, that's not what I asked, Your Honor. Did
Read it back.
Have you asked this individual directly for the name of the person that he gave the gun
Oh,
to?
all right. No, that's good.
Objection, Your Honor, this case, the testimony, he didn't say he gave it.
over? Have you asked him for the name of the person that he gave the gun to?
That wait, that is not what he has testified to.
Your Honor, he
He
testified.
said he didn't give it to. He gave it to the person who he got it from.
And I asked him if he asked the person that he gave it to.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I got the question. All right.
Have you asked the person that you gave it to the name of the person that he gave the gun to?
No, I don't. I asked him if he still had it, and he said no. I didn't ask him. He didn't. When I spoke to him about it, he didn't know where it went. So I don't. I know I didn't ask him who he gave it to because I wasn't aware he gave it to anybody.
But, so when he said no, you didn't ask any further question or make any further effort to find out where the gun was. Is that correct?
I asked him if we could get it back, and he said no, it was gone.
Did you ask him any further questions? Yes or no?
No.
I want to go to my last area here. I want to talk about prop gun. You're aware that when a prop gun is fired, a semi-automatic prop gun, that although nothing comes out of the barrel, that it has a prop load, correct?
Can you? What is a problem with you?
So when you load a prop gun, a semi-automatic prop gun, you're putting prop rounds in a magazine.
Correct. Yes.
And the gun that you're talking about that you gave the defendant was a Glock semi-automatic prop gun, correct?
Correct.
And the way that gun works is the gun is fired. When it is fired, a cartridge ejects out of the side and the next round cycles. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Did you actually load the prop gun?
Yes.
What kind of ammunition did you use to load the prop gun?
It was the blank ammunition that came with it. I don't remember exactly what brand it was.
But you would agree it's a 9mm prop ammo. So it's a round, but instead of being, let me use what we've got here. May I approach on it?
You don't have to ask.
This is a 9mm hollow point, correct?
Yes, correct.
You know what a hollow point is, right?
Yes.
Hollow point at the tip it's not fully jacketed. It doesn't come to a complete surface. It's got a hole in it. Is that correct?
Yeah, the point is hollow, yes, correct.
And when this round is fired, the casing, which is in the back, ejects out the side and the bullet goes forward, right?
In a live gun, yes.
Yes. And the difference between this round, which is a real 9mm round, and what you loaded is that instead of having a bullet, a projectile at the tip that fires, it actually has what is in essence a paper bullet. And it doesn't go anywhere and nothing comes out of the barrel. Is that correct?
It's like crimped at the end, so it can't actually fire anything, yeah.
But it makes the sound, correct?
It does.
And it ends up putting out a muzzle flash, correct?
Yeah,
And it ejects the expended casing out of the side, correct?
that's correct.
So when you fire it, no bullet comes out, cartridge gets ejected, the gun automatically, semi-automatic, cycles the next round into the chamber, and you repeat
Somebody said that gun is in the Hudson River by now.
for as many live rounds as you have. Is that
That would be insane if, like, a few years from now, and a gun is recovered, I don't know, somewhere in New York City, or even maybe 50 years from now when, you know, I'm old and crippled, and they come back to this case and they're like, oh, well, this case can be tied back to, I don't know, 2025. So,
correct?
Yep, correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding of how prop gun works, correct.
One moment, Joe. Did you only communicate with the defendant by his cell phone number? I'm not gonna give it, but you know the cell phone number that's been involved in this case, correct?
Yeah, it's all
I'm not gonna name his cell phone number. Is that the only number that you communicated with?
with defendant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever communicate with him on other apps, such as Signal or WhatsApp or WeChat?
With the defendant?
Yes.
No, the only other thing I might have communicated with him is through, like, you know, you could iMessage, you could like send iMessages with your email sometimes. I might have used his email to message him before, never Signal or WhatsApp or WeChat.
Let me approach. This is People's 21. Is this the iMessage that you're talking about addressed to?
Yeah,
Luigi?
yeah, that's the one, yeah.
And when we say Luigi, that's another name for the defendant, is that right?
No one calls him Luigi, it's just,
yeah, no, that would be completely insane. Like, imagine 40, 50 years from now, and, you know, they find the so-called gun, and the way that they match it is because they have the shell casings. That would be, wow. I don't know. I don't even know, because if I search how to destroy a gun or whatever, I don't want that stuff popping up. I've searched worse things, but let's
the email address he made.
Okay.
Let's see how to get rid of a gun.
One moment, Your Honor. How long before the search warrant was executed at the house in April 2022 at the defendant's house was it that you had brought over your guns and where you had left locked in magazine?
That was in,
Apparently, you can melt or shred a gun, so maybe I don't know. Look, I'm gonna leave it there.
like I said, we went to the shooting range, well, we were gonna go to the shooting range in summer of 2021. So July, August, I don't remember the exact date, but it was in that vicinity.
And You brought a number of guns there, is that right?
That day, I brought my 2 handguns.
And
Yeah.
which handgun did you bring?
Smith & Wesson M&P 9, which is a 9mm, and Glock 42, which is a 3/8.
Okay. Do you know how it was that you ended up only leaving a Glock 43 magazine that didn't fit any of those guns there? How you managed to leave it there?
Well, because when we realized we couldn't go to the shooting range, I packed up my bag and I left this Glock 43 magazine out while we were drinking and just hanging out. That's when I was fidgeting around with it. The next day when I went to go pick up my stuff, I just grabbed the bag and I didn't grab the magazine because it was separate from my bag.
So is your testimony that you have to be just fidgeting with this magazine that you had? That didn't fit any gun?
What I'd like to know is how much time lapsed between this kickback and the search. Was it a day before? Was it months? I don't know. If they mentioned time, I was not paying attention to that. But I have serious questions.
That you had with you that you thought was different magazines, that testimony?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I'm not further.
Zero.
Redirect is painful.
So you were asked if you found out that immediately after the incident, Relly demanded money from Rocky. If you were, let me withdraw that.
You struggle.
You were asked if you found out immediately after the incident that Relly demanded money from Rocky. If you were coming in here just to help Rocky instead of telling the truth, would you have just come in here and said, yes, Rocky?
You're leading.
Yes, it this way. Ms. Levin asked you if Rocky told you immediately after the incident that he was being escorted by Relly, and you said, no, you didn't know immediately after. If you were coming in here just to help Rocky, wouldn't you have said, yeah, he told me immediately after?
And speculation both.
He gets to finish the question.
Even if it's leading.
He gets to finish the question. Finish the question.
Thank you. If you were coming in here just to help Rocky, would you have answered his question that yes, Rocky told you immediately after the incident that Relly was trying to extort him?
Leading and speculation, Your Honor.
That is a leading question.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Judge, I don't know what's going on with Judge Arthur. Maybe he's tired of dealing with Lewin for 30 years. That might be it, because I don't understand some of these rulings.
yeah, that's true.
Now, you were asked about why you didn't come forward and tell prosecutors and the detectives that it was a prop gun. Are you aware that Rocky told his lawyers from the outset that it was a
Jackson,
prop
that's
gun?
gonna call for
And his lawyers
speculation.
were dealing
It's
with
an
the
improper
prosecution.
question.
Stop.
Yeah, Lewin is, I don't know. Lewin, I don't know what's going on. Maybe again, he's probably frustrated because the judge's rulings, I don't know. And that's for both sides. Alexa, stop.
It calls for hearsay and it's irrelevant. The objection sustained. Ask another question.
Do you know what conversations Rocky's had with his lawyers?
Objection relevant, also.
Sir, you asked the same question 3 different times and it's not going to come in.
Can call for hearsay.
Okay.
Motion to direct the counsel not to ask any questions in this line.
You feel a question is objectionable, lodge an objection. I'm not going to tell any lawyer how to ask questions.
I mean, in that part, I kind of disagreed with the judge again because he has pretty much told lawyers how to ask questions. So I don't know. And I mean, this is from the perspective of Lewin. He did put a cap on his cross. And then I think when it came to Takapina, I don't remember which witness, but he pretty much allowed him to lead. So I don't know what the judge is talking about.
I want to show you People's 41 in evidence.
No, why he's licking his fingers. That's gross.
What is that?
That is the Glock 43 magazine that I left at his house that day.
Do you see any scratches on that at all?
Can I touch it?
Yeah, please.
No, it looks brand new.
Has it ever been used?
That's been golf for it's just saying.
How's it look to you?
It looks unused and brand new.
Now, you were asked about the ASAP ills and cross-examination. Do you know the condition of ills today?
From my knowledge, is unreal.
Jack, that's been
I'm
golf for
well.
circulation and your set.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
John Black's foundation.
Now, you were asked about what Rocky told you about the incident repeatedly. Did Rocky tell you about it immediately after it happened?
Yes,
And was this an everyday topic of discussion in your life?
the incident.
It's a lady.
And do you know whether Rocky was told by his lawyers after his arrest
Objection,
not to discuss?
objection, suspend.
Lewin is
Now,
not doing it.
you're instructed to ignore that question has been asked 3
Questions
times.
are not evidence. All right. Mr. Siegel, I don't want you to ask any more questions about conversations that you or Mr. Takapina had with your client. No more questions about that.
I have no more questions on anything. I'm just finished. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
That recross man or redirect, I'm sorry. I do not know. I guess I take my position back because when we started, I actually wanted Chad to take over most of the direct just because Takapina likes CL. And then when him and Lewin get into it, it's a turn off. I thought that Chad would do a better job with his questions, but he struggled. He struggled with recross. I don't exactly know what testimony he was trying to cure because it's not obvious from the questions, but he struggled. He struggled a lot. Okay. Benji, don't lose your job trying to don't lose your job trying to keep up with me. there's always the replay, okay? There's the replay, and then on Saturdays I'll try to, I guess schedule it so that you're available, okay? Yeah, but don't be out here trying to lose your job, Benji. All right, let's see. Is this the end?
Thank you very much.
Good, thanks.
Lewin, wait, whoa,
Oh, I apologize, I'm sorry,
hold
so
on.
sorry, so sorry.
You have anything?
No, I do not, subject to.
Sorry.
All right, you can leave for now,
Excuse me.
but if you're notified to return, you must do so.
Understood.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Next witness. How much time? We still have 55 minutes. You tell me how much time.
Let's see.
I
I know they've stopped showing Rocky. I actually I prefer to look at the defendant. I prefer, I guess you have to look at the person that's testifying too.
All right, we'll recess till 10 o'clock tomorrow.
So what was the point of reconvening today if nothing happened? Let's see. All right. Yeah, I don't get it though, because there's another case out of California. It's a woman that did something, okay? They're accusing her of, I believe, taking her out, her partner or something. It's usually recommended on Law and Crime, but they start much sooner than this. I don't know. They have something going on in Los Angeles. Okay. All right, let's move on. Somebody said, "Is this lawyer a student?" He struggled. I don't know. Chad, I have no idea what was going on with Chad, but
Open doors, please don't discuss the case among yourselves or anybody else. Remember to keep an open mind. You have not heard everything and you are not yet deliberating. Don't review anything or don't look at anything.
I thought they came back with something, no?
Briefly, I just follow up on what we discussed. If hypothetically,
Or
Hypothetically.
hypothetically, if you choose not to testify tomorrow, let you know that. The one witness we have should be remitted.
One witness what?
The one witness we have should be remitted.
One witness did what?
It is there.
You should have let Chad talk here.
We can get the instructions done tonight or email us tonight. Is there a reason we put it to your first submission tomorrow? Because that means we're then going to do next week. I mean, no, for Friday.
Next week.
Thursday. Yeah, not to do all three of them in one day.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday.
Right, so that means it's the next Monday.
You know, and here's the problem, Joe, we don't, the problem for us is we have to pretend tonight or prepare tonight as if he is testifying tomorrow. That is a ton of work. You want time to be able to discuss with him about him being able to testify. We're in a position, we got to do instructions, do his cross-examination, and then do our argument.
I'm not gonna force anybody to argue, when they don't feel this. Mr. Takapina, if Mr. Kozlovic feels that, he's in a position to, make his opening argument tomorrow, then he's welcome to do it.
Opening or closing?
However, if he feels that he needs, some time to do it, to get his thoughts, together, then you can have that time and the arguments will be on Thursday.
Okay, so I guess Pozlomek is the one that's going to deliver closing. I don't know. How do I feel about that? I'm not sure.
But I need the jury instructions, and I want you to send them to defense counsel, and when you come in tomorrow morning, I'd like to get a copy, and also full self-defense.
Yes, I
And
did
defense
all that.
matters.
I'm almost done with the first draft of it, so I will email everyone tonight.
Very good.
And then
Okay, anything else?
How long your charge take?
How long, what?
Instructions, charge.
How long did it take you to read them?
Yeah.
No, less than an hour. With this case, probably 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
That's probably, yeah, done by 11.
Well, we're starting
Somebody said don't get on the stand. Definitely don't get on that stand, baby. If you get on that stand, it's over.
at 10.
Yeah.
You're gonna call one, it's possible, but I highly doubt it. But if worst scenario, we should be done early in the afternoon with, jury instruction.
I'll bet you money up there past 11. Obviously, it's all different. We're gonna have a discussion right now, but.
All right.
Be quiet, be.
Mr. Lloyd, anything for the
That man is stylish though. That's a stylish brother. Okay.
record? Mr. Brzovic, anything for the record? All right, we'll see everybody at 10 o'clock. Robert.
I know Brooklyn probably knows what kind of glasses he has on. All right, so let's see. I think there's a video out here. What time is it? I need to go make my dinner, you guys. I have to feed my daughter. Okay. All right. I'm so nosy. I'm getting distracted. Let's go here.
Mr. Takapina, you have no additional witnesses.
Correct.
All right, so under these circumstances, folks, there's no need to come back tonight. So we'll watch this. And then is there court tomorrow or not? If there's no court, I'm not coming up here. I'm probably going to be doing my daughter's hair. But if there's court, if anything happens, or actually tomorrow, let's do Karen Reed. Yeah, tomorrow, let's do Karen Reed. Let's do Karen Reed tomorrow. So for tomorrow's what, Wednesday? Wednesday's a bit tricky. Let me see. Because it depends on what time I get home. Yeah, either way, tomorrow we are going to do Karen Reed. I guess regular time. No, tomorrow let's go with 8:45. I really want to go 8:30 though, but I don't want to rush. Yeah, tomorrow let's do 8:45 p.m. and then we're gonna do Karen Reed tomorrow. All right, let's get
The
started.
suggestion made this order. We are happy to add, if you'd like.
Happy to do what?
Articles 32 did not come from a prop gun. That's the case, exactly what you want.
Mike, just a second. Okay, we're just gonna make, Judge, we call our expert real quick. We're trying to say,
There's a lot of bass in his voice.
awesome.
Let's,
No, hold on.
Take it away, takes.
let's do it after the jury has left.
Because we're not coming back to one, can't be to one.
But wait, if we agree on the stipulation,
Then we would read it to them.
we agree to them, you do the charge, and then they could leave good.
Well, that's
Right. But we're gonna make them leave.
Well, we're gonna have to go through instructions because we haven't done it yet. You can't just read from the jury without.
Right.
You gotta read either way.
They have leave for the day.
No,
How long will you anticipate?
Oh no, what's going on here? There's nothing of substance happening, folks. I'll listen to this while I'm cooking, okay? So it's been great. It's been great. Let's see. So tomorrow, I don't know if they have court or not. Regardless, so let's start at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. If the ASAP Rocky trial is not going on tomorrow, if there's no court tomorrow, then we're just gonna move on to Karen Reed. Okay. So how do I title my, I guess I don't know. I'll go look at newsprint and see if there's court tomorrow. If there's no court tomorrow, then we will be live, but we're going to be talking about Karen Reed. All right. All right, folks. I am calling it a night. I'm going to cook. I'm going to do some stuff, take a shower, get ready. And then obviously again, I'm not going to be back tonight because there's nothing else to report on, or at least comment on. Let's see. Shout out to the replay crew. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Jerome. Shout out to everybody that came through to today. Okay. I don't want to leave anybody's name out. Brooklyn, Jason, Benji, Kylie. I think that's everybody. I don't want to leave like it's not intentional. Shout out to myself because I was in the chat. So shout out to Fever. Look at me. Shout out to Fever. All right, folks. Have a good night. Have a fantastic Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. All right. Good night.